I've been reading a lot of comments saying fighters struggle a lot against Melissa, but I thought of a fighter who could counter Melissa, which is Cici. Later, I'll explain why Cici can counter Melissa. For now, let's focus on the draft picks. So, our teammate first picked Ling, which is probably why the enemy chose Melissa to counter him. On top of that, the enemy team had really strong heroes: Cecilion, Freya, and Masha. Their damage was insanely high from early to late game. Meanwhile, one of my teammates still wanted to play Roam even though he already saw someone pick Florin. I really had to point it out for him to realize.
Let's hear from the crowd. Make some...
I've only played a few matches with Cici because I find her a bit boring to use. But she's worth practicing now since a huge buff is coming in the next patch update, which is in about 5 days. That's almost the same time as the end of the season. Now let's talk about how Cici can counter Melissa. We all know Melissa's damage comes from her second skill, where she throws her dolls near you, and if you're within range, her damage becomes insanely painful. Pair that with Inspire and she can easily burst down enemies. Cici can counter this with her second skill, which lets her jump out of Melissa's second skill range. Their cooldowns are almost the same too. Plus, Cici is one of the heroes who typically use Vengeance as the main battle spell, which is another weakness of Melissa. When Melissa combos, you can just activate Vengeance and voila, half of Melissa's strength is countered. Vengeance and Inspire also have the same cooldown, so there's no issue there. Another reason is that Cici has a long-range basic attack, which will be even longer after the upcoming update. But her main source of damage is her first skill, which has almost the same range as Melissa's basic attacks. And that's not all. When Melissa uses her ultimate, it's almost useless against Cici since she can still hit her from a distance. Cici can easily sustain Melissa's damage using Spell Vamp. She can't bully me in the lane because Cici seems like a complete counter to her. Well, maybe it's also because of our Florin, but you get the point. I already explained how Cici counters Melissa. And if you're going to say that this Melissa player wasn't that good, well, neither am I. I only have 15 matches with a 50% win rate, so that's not a valid argument. I know there are other heroes who can counter Melissa, but when it comes to fighters, Cici is the only one that comes to mind. Plus, with the upcoming buff for her, it's a good idea to learn how to use her now. I'm not that familiar with her yet since I've only used her a few times, but as I play more matches with her, I'll get better. Unless I end up like that Moskov I featured in my content a few days ago. Cecilion was super aggressive and even flickered to chase me. I almost outplayed him here, but then Masha showed up just in time. That moment was so funny because Cici's voice line was perfectly timed.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this money show.